Ground and Pound.
George Sotiropoulos.
Ground and Pound.
Ground and Pound Radio is powered by Showtime, your number one body and mind energy booster.
Hey fight fans, this is another episode of Ground and Pound Radio, and this time we talked exclusively to UFC lightweight contender George Sotiropoulos, who will face off against German lightweight standout Dennis Siver this Saturday at UFC 127. And now, have fun with the interview.
You're listening to Ground and Pound Radio.
George, you're on a roll right now with 8 wins in a row, beating big-name guys like Joe Lawson, Kurt Pellegrino, and Joe Stevenson in the last 3 fights. 2 of those fights being awarded Fight of the Night honors. So how do you feel at the moment?
I'm happy with the way things are going, and I really, I couldn't be happier. I'm on a roll, and I'm doing really good.
As a German magazine, we are especially interested in your next fight, which will be at UFC 122 against German fighter Dennis Siver. What do you know of Siver, and did you watch his last fights, and are you impressed with him?
Yeah, I'm definitely impressed by Dennis. He's a very tough fighter. He's got great kickboxing and great kicks. I think he's a very mature, seasoned, and relaxed fighter, and he's very well-rounded.
And how do you predict the fight to go out?
Look, it's going to be, I believe it'll be a tough fight, and, I just believe the fight will be fought in all areas. It'll be a good mixed martial arts contest.
Do you predict him going to the ground with you? Because he said recently he worked on his BJJ a bit, but really he's a stand-up artist. So you think he will try to go to the ground with you?
I think anything's possible. I think it'll be inevitable that the fight ends up on the ground, whether he takes it there or I take it there. I just think the nature of the sport will have it happen that way because just because of the way the sport is. It involves wrestling and jiu-jitsu and kickboxing, and the fight doesn't end at the clinch, and it'll just whether it's forced to the ground with a takedown or whether the fighters tangle off and fall to the ground, anything's possible. It may not. It may. I really, the way I prepare is I prepare for everything. So, I'm comfortable wherever the fight is.
When the fight was announced shortly after UFC 122, there have been talks of the winner being in line for the future title shot. Now with this whole Frankie Edgar and Gray Maynard situation and Anthony Pettis in the mix too, this might not be the case anymore. Does this bother you, or do you have any news on this subject?
Look, it really doesn't matter because it's really irrelevant. I'm preparing to fight Dennis Siver. I'm not fighting for a title. I'm fighting Dennis, and that's really all that matters right now.
Okay, but you think that a title fight could be in the future for you? Because with 8 wins in a row and a performance like that, it should be.
Look, I think as long as you keep winning and you keep making a case and having great fights, you'll make a case for the title. But, the title shot will be the product of great fights and victories.
Which one of those 3 names, Edgar, Maynard, or Pettis, would you like to fight most, or who would match up with you best, in your opinion?
Look, I'm unbiased. I want to fight all of them equally.
The lighter weight divisions have gained a lot of attention in the last few years. Do you feel that there has been some kind of a change in the thinking of the minds of the fans and also of those responsible behind the scenes? Because the lighter guys are constantly producing incredible fights.
Look, I think, no matter any sort of combat sport, the lighter weight divisions always produce more technical, exciting fights because, there's more speed and technique as opposed to the heavier divisions where there's more power and brutality. So that being said, it's definitely the case where the lightweight division is very exciting, and there's so many big names right now in the division that it's producing great fights.
The WEC recently merged with the UFC, thus a whole new flood of talent is coming into the UFC, turning the lightweight division into a shark tank. Are you concerned, or do you feel that it is a good thing?
I think it's a good thing. Competition makes for great fights, and I think that's the spirit of competition and the way it's supposed to be. It's like in business. The more the more competitors there are, the more competitive and the business is. You know, so I think competition is a great thing.
And what has been your toughest fight so far?
You know what? Every fight I've fought, especially in the last year, they've all been tough. You know, they're all unique in their own way. You know, the fight with Stevenson and Pellegrino were both great fights. They were great wrestlers, and they were able to get on top and give me a great fight on top. And the fight was what was on. He produced a different look and feel. You know, and the same thing with Dennis now. He's a different fighter again, and he's a stand-up artist, and he's going to give me another look. So every fight gives me a different, presents different problems. But I like it because I like having I like the diversity in my opponents because it just it makes it interesting for me, and it just it's always something new to work on.
Your only 2 losses came against Kyle Noak. It was a split decision, and Shinya Aoki due to a DQ. You avenged the loss against Noak a little later. Would you like to fight Aoki again in the future?
Look, I think we both have unfinished business, and I think it would be great that I got to fight him again, especially because the way the fight went last time, it was prematurely stopped. There was a low blow, according to him, and it was, the fight, it was really like an anticlimax because nobody really won, nobody really lost. It just ended because we could continue, and I'd like to find him again with a definitive outcome, whether it be submission, knockout, or decision.
Ground and Pound Radio.
That was our exclusive interview with George Sotiropoulos. I hope you enjoyed it.
Ground and Pound.